Groove in the Moo, Field Day, Splendour in the Grass, Yours and Ours. The list goes on of Australian festivals where the youth flock to dress up and listen to their favourite bands. And have a few drinks, of course. These festivals have taken on characteristics from their overseas counterparts, primarily the infamous Coachella. Festival fashion has become a lucrative business and one of the most stressful times in a young adult's life. What will we wear? Do we match with our group? What if everyone else is wearing the same thing? I have to be alternative, indie, different. How do I achieve this? Cultural appropriation. Well, not blatantly, but subconsciously we make the decision to use other cultural looks because they seem cool, right? What is cultural appropriation? It's when cultural elements of a minority culture are either borrowed or stolen by members of a dominant culture, and are often taken out of context. We saw the catalyst of this at Coachella, when Native American headdresses were fawned over as being indie, cool and different, and definitely the headliner of festival fashion. Is this okay? Well, no. We're taking cultural elements of minority cultures and using them as a beauty trend, not actually respecting the historical significance or respect necessary towards these cultures. We started to see culturally appropriated beauty looks transition to the Australian festival culture. You've certainly seen some of these while you're raving out in the Splendour mosh pit. Bindies. This is a common one. We've been using bindies for years. Adorning your forehead with jewels isn't just a cool look. You're actually appropriating symbols of Southeast Asian and Chinese cultures used for religious means. The bindi is historically used in scriptural, sacrificial meanings, founded in tradition. In Hindu cultures, bindis are used to symbolise married women and are actually a sign of good fortune. It's not a fashion statement. Think twice before you adorn your forehead with jewels. Are you being respectful? Did you know the history of the bindi? This is my favourite, feathered headdresses. Wouldn't you think this one was obvious? Like, come on, we've all seen the heavily inappropriate Disney film Pocahontas. I'm definitely not giving it any praise. But Native American feathered headdresses? Obviously cultural appropriation. Taking some minority cultures' elements and using them out of context? I hate to break it to you, but feathered headdresses are a big one. Here's a quick education. Feathered headdresses were an important ceremonial regala worn only by chiefs and warriors. Only men primarily wore them as well. Feathers hold significance in Native American culture to symbolise wisdom, peace, power and bravery. The more abundant the feathers on the headdress, the higher the rank of the warrior is. So once again, not a fashion statement. You are actually really disrespecting a culture that has already suffered so much from dominance. Maybe think about that before wearing one next time. Last one. One of the most popular is cornrows. Alright, I hate to admit it, but I unfortunately succumbed to the fashion statement and wore cornrows to a festival once. Cornrow braiding originated in Africa and the Caribbean. The name actually indicates agriculture, planting and labour. Michaela Davis of Vibe magazine states, they're part of our cultural and artistic vocabulary. Braids are part of tribal customs in Africa and also still signify a lot of marginalisation in America as a symbol of difference and for part, discrimination. Did you know this? I certainly didn't until I began to research. Don't just think that it's cool, actually look into the history of these styles, because I can tell you that appropriation isn't cool. It's all fine to want to be an individual, to look cool at the next festival when you take on the Splendour bender. However, be conscious of your fashion choices. Don't take someone else's culture just because it looks cool. There's plenty of fashion out there that doesn't require cultural appropriation. You just have to look for it.